in the head, and especially the brain. So if we don't get air up there, then the brain is not getting enough of its oxygen. That's why most people's brains don't function properly, or they're all mixed up. Anyway, that's another issue. But so right now, I just want to see if you can isolate and get control over these sections, because it'll be very useful to do when you meditate, and to be able to breathe in, take longer and deeper, slower breaths. The slower and deeper the breath is, the more relaxing it has for the nervous system. And you feel this gradual expansion of, especially holding in the air for a few seconds, and then on the contraction, feeling that out breath go out first from the lower lobes. So it sends waves, creates waves of very relaxing and mellow vibrations to the nervous system. That's why by doing that breath for 5 minutes without any interruptions or distractions, you could enter the first jhana. Now, people would dispute that, but from my own experience, I know it's true. But anyway, so we're going to try to isolate this one by one. So place the hands, suck in your stomach a bit, and feel the bottom of your rib cage, your bones there, okay? So the hands just underneath that. And so for the lower lobes, when the lower lobes are filling, keeping the hands here helps the mind know where it should be breathing. And gently kind of push the stomach out and down as you breathe in, because that's the kind of the movement. The lower part of the lung is expanding kind of downward. You want to try to feel it. So let's try to take 2 or 3 seconds to slowly breathe in. Focus on that downward movement. Go ahead, breathe. And hold the breath in a couple of seconds. Now gently suck the stomach in and up to get all the air out. Let's do that 2 more times. In breath, push the stomach out and down. Hold it. Out breath, gently pull the stomach in and up. You can even hear the breath go out once more. Now place your hands at the sides. Try to do it just with your concentration power. Just concentrate there. The lower lungs. Gently push the stomach out and down. Hold it a moment. Out breath. One more time. After the out breath, just relax. Feel the effects of that in your body and mind. Did everybody think that they could feel that specific breathing down there like that? Okay. So that's pretty easy. Most people do breathe there. Now we're going to move the attention, forget about the lower lobes, and we're going to see if we can isolate the breathing in the middle chest. Now, actually, there's only one lobe in the middle chest because the heart takes up the place where one of the lobes would be, but it's a big lobe to compensate. But just imagine for all intents and purposes that there's 2 lobes there. Okay, so placing the hands about here. And for the middle lobes, you'll feel an outward expansion, like accordion being played, accordion being pulled out like that, the rib cage. And then on the out breath, accordion going back in there like that. And also maybe a slight lift, but an outward and upward kind of lift. So again, let's try that. Take a slow, deep breath. Hold the air in. Out breath. Allow the chest to contract inwards. Again, in breath. Out. Now put the hands at the side. See if you can do that just with your concentration. Concentrate in the middle chest. Once more. For the out breath, relax. Feel the effects of that. You should feel a kind of a quiet vibration in the body and mind. You know, how many think they felt the breathing here as being different than the breathing down in the bottom? Anybody couldn't? So both of those are fairly easy because most people do breathe alternately in different times, or a little bit in both of those sections. Now we're going to try the upper section because normally, unless you're doing heavy exertion, the air doesn't get up there because your breath is too short and shallow. So to feel the upper lobes, you have to raise the hands all the way up to your collarbone. Keep the elbows up because if the elbows are down, it prevents the ribs from expanding. So keep the elbows up. So it's just a short distance from your nose to the upper lobes. There's tubes that go directly into that off the trachea. So just concentrate there. We'll breathe in. Feel that expansion all the way up to the base of your neck. Hold it. And the out breath. In. Hold. Out. Once more. Out. Place the hands down at the sides. Try it without using your hands. Just concentrate. Imagine you were breathing the air straight through your neck, the Adam's apple. Imagine that you were breathing, there was a hole there you're breathing. And for the out breath, completely relax. Feel a little subtle vibration. Okay. Now, how many thought they felt clearly the upper lobe breathing? So some air still might go into those other places, but at least a good amount of it, most of it should be going into those places. Now, normally we don't breathe into them separately, but it's nature's protection. Because if the lung was just one bag of air, if you got a punctured lung, you'd be dead. But we know that we can lose part of our lung. We get a punctured lung, you got other lung areas to breathe into. So it's kind of a nature's protection. So you wouldn't die immediately if you got stabbed, lung. Okay, so now how many felt some effect of doing that breathing? Especially when you held in the breath for a long time, did you feel any kind of subtle vibrations? Yes, no, maybe so, positively, maybe. Okay. Anyway, so that's just something, that three-part breathing, actually, all the time that I spend in India living in yoga ashrams and, things like that, that was the most valuable thing that I learned, more than standing on my head or twisting your body into a pretzel shapes, was that three-part breathing. Because you can live without exercise, you can't live without breathing. So breathing is more important than the stretching. But when you combine them, you get a double whammy effect. Because now you can do exercises, stretching, but if you're not breathing in while you're doing that, you don't get the added effect of, as you're stretching the muscles, tissue apart, then you got that oxygenated blood as you're breathing in at the same time, being able to penetrate all those deepest nooks and crannies. But if you're just breathing in when the muscle tissue and joints are still stiff and contracted, then you don't get that same full kind of effect. So that's kind of the idea behind doing the deep, slow breathing, coordinating it with these movements as we've been doing fairly often. Okay, now we're going to come down to the mats. I'm going to show you a couple of good exercises to help the breathing in those three areas. Now, there's something called the Maha Mudra, which is the upper lobe draining exercise. Because even if we get air into the upper lobes, normally we don't breathe out enough to get all the air out. Because all the air needs to come out of the lungs too, because it's already depleted of its oxygen and it's containing carbon dioxide and other impurities. So, but most people don't, because the upper lobes are like that. The air can't get out. So it's called tidal air. It's actually a medical condition, trapped tidal air. And this is about the only exercise, or one of the easiest ones, to do that forces that air out. It's like flushing a toilet with the upper lobes. So I'm going to demonstrate it one time, and then you can try it. So you interlock the fingers behind the back, and you take a deep breath. And on the out breath, I'm going to lower my head down to the floor. By the time the head touches the floor, I try to get all the air out. But then once the head touches floor, I'm going to raise my arms, and you're going to hear an extra whoosh go out, which is that trapped air getting pushed out because your shoulder blades are pressing the top of the lung, forcing that air out, which normally it won't do, just a normal, breathing. Okay. And once I do it, you can try it. I'm going to breathe in. Sit back up. Anybody hear that extra air come out? What was that? Okay, so it's kind of proof to yourself that there's something called this trapped air, and it's good to release it, especially if you've been behind polluted trucks and other places where there's lots of pollution, dust pollution, other types of pollution. It's good to frequently do that to help keep those upper lobes clean. And yes, we can go ahead and try that. So interlock your fingers. Take a deep breath. Hold the breath a second. And on the out breath, lower the head down to the floor. Don't raise your arms yet. Wait till the head touches the floor. If you can't touch the head to the floor, it's far down. Now raise the arms up fairly quickly. If you have a stiff shoulders, it might be difficult to do that. If you felt the air go out, lower your arms back to your back and sit up on the in-breath. So, in yoga, there's many really excellent exercises, but the problem is a lot of people, their bodies are not able to do it, even something that's really not that difficult. Anyway, try it again a couple more times, okay? Because it's really good to know this. So breathe in. Out breath, head to the floor. Raise the arms. Lower the arms. Sit up on the in-breath. Pull the shoulders back as you breathe in. One more time. Out breath, head to the floor. Raise the arms. Lower the arms. Sit up and release your hands, relax. Just feel the body. Now this exercise also is very good to do when you first get up in the morning, especially in the winter. If you're sleeping, you got covers over your head, maybe there's not such good ventilation in the room, and so there's all stale air trapped in the lungs. And so it's good. I do that every morning. It's the first thing I do after getting up, is to do that. Therefore, your lungs are freshly cleaned out, and then when you start doing deep breathing, that new air can get in there, not mixed up with old stale air. Okay, now there's this exercise that's designed for helping to breathe in all three parts of the lung, and it's called the cat stretch breathing. If you have a cat at home, you might see me doing this. So you're on all fours, have your hands so they're kind of underneath your shoulders. Keep the arms straight. Then on an in-breath, arch your spine downwards while lifting the head up and back. And on the out-breath, begin arching the spine upward and press the chin down to the top of the chest as you arch up like a cat stretching. Just repeat that. In-breath, arch the spine down while lifting the head up and back. Draws the air into the upper lungs. You start arching upwards, it presses the air out of the lower lobes. As you press the chin to the chest, it pushes the air out of the upper lobes. See if you can feel that. Keep going, in breath, spine down, head up and back. It's also an excellent spinal flexing exercise to get the rust out of the spinal column, loosen up the discs. Let's try to do that a few more times. Okay, now there's a second option to this, is the next time that you breathe in and arch the spine down, raise your right leg up and extend your right leg back and up to get an arch from your back of your foot to the back of your head. And on the out breath, bring the knee all the way forward and see if you can bring your head down to touch the knee. May not be able to touch it, but at least fairly close. And keep the arms straight. And then do that 3 times with the right leg. In breath, extending the leg back, stretching the head back. Feel that nice arch from the foot to the back of the head. Out breath, bring the knee forward, head down. It presses all the air out of the lungs. As you breathe in, lift the leg and head up. That draws the air into all 3 parts of the lung. The out breath, bringing the knee forward, the head down, presses all the air out. It's very good breathing, remedial breathing exercise for people with bad breathing, which is most people. And then 3 times with the other side, to your left leg. Now, when you finish with the left leg, then sit back on your heels, keeping the hands extended out in front, and touch your forehead to the floor. Just rest in that position. Near the point where the forehead presses the floor. This is a position you see advertised on the internet for relieving sciatica pain. Okay, now breathe in, sit back up. Just feel the whole body. Hey, how do you feel? Great. Okay. Want one more? For the back, because the back is the most important group of bones in the whole body, the spine, because that's what carries the life force and all the nervous system vibrations from the body up to the brain. And back pain is serious. And, so many people, but it's largely due to people don't exercise. They strain their back or they this and that because they, if the muscles and joints and discs are not flexible, then any kind of sudden movement is gonna, create a trauma and, it's gonna maybe break them. But when they're kept fluid by regular exercise and by deep breathing, then, you can avoid a lot of doctor bills. Of course, that's why the doctors don't tell you about this. You need the business. Okay, apart from that. No offense. Hope there's no doctors here. Okay, from this position, reach back, try to touch your fingers to your toes, and then see if you can lean back on the straight arms. It might be a little bit painful in your feet, but again, no pain, no gain. Pain means the energy is blocked. And the only way you're going to unblock it is by stretching. Okay, now let your head go back. And on an in breath, try to lift your hips off the feet and arch up and push your stomach out. And on the out breath, gently sit back down on the heels and lift your head up a little bit. And do it 2 more times. Let the head go back. In breath, lift the hips up, push the stomach out. Out breath, sit down, lift the head up a bit. And once more, in breath. And hold it a little longer. And sit down with the head, and on in-breath, sit up straight. You just feel the whole body. Now, how many people have, pain sitting in this position? What about this one? Pain too? What can you do? Okay, so this is an excellent exercise for learning to stretch and loosen up all those little bones and muscle tissue that are causing the pain because they're stiff. So from this position, see if you can get in this position and feel that stretch in your toe joints. It's excellent for stretching out the toe joints and getting flexibility in your toe joints. And then on an in-breath, just lift straight up and flatten the tops of your feet to the floor. So stick out your toes and then sit down on the heels, press the tops of the feet into the floor. And it's going to be a little bit painful too, but again, no pain, no gain. And just keep repeating that. In-breath, lift up, tuck your toes under. Out breath, sit down, feel the stretch of the toe joints on the heels, and just keep repeating that. In breath, lift up, flatten the tops of the feet to the floor, sit down. Try to get the heels that nestle between the cheeks of your buttocks, not spread apart, but keeping the heels together. That presses the base of the spine, the tailbone, which is a good exercise in itself. Okay, try one more time. In breath. And you can bend back a little bit as you lift up, bend back a bit, push the stomach out. And on the out breath, sit down. So it's just an extra little thing you can do for the spine. And once more. Out. Just once more to flatten the tops of the feet. Okay. Okay, now stretch your legs out to relieve any pain or discomfort. See, all these people that run the marathon are weightlifters. See if they can do these exercises. Everybody scream running out of the room. So all these exercises have the purpose for meditators, to help meditators. And the bones and the joints are affected in sitting posture. Okay, now lay down flat on your back. This is everybody's favorite yoga posture. Just feel the body pressing the floor. We're going to do the yoga sit-up and the forward stretch. So on the in-breath, sit up. Bring your hands together at the chest, then over the head. On the out breath, touch the chest first and reach forward into the forward stretch to hold your toes. Pull the hands on the feet or legs to stretch forward or more. Okay, then release your feet, breathe in, sit back up, hands to the chest over the head. Out breath, touch the chest and lay back down slowly. Hands to the floor. So that's one round. So again, in breath, sit up. Hands to the chest, over the head. Out breath, forward stretch. And stretch forward a little more. In breath, sit up, hands over the head. Out breath, lay back down. Once more, in breath. Out breath. Third time, hold that stretch longer. At the little bones in the lower spine, where the spine connects to the pelvic girdle. These bones stretch out. Feel all the sensations. Okay, then breathe in, sit back up, hands over the head. Out breath, touch the chest, lay back down. Feel all the subtle sensations. Okay, now we're going to, on an in breath, again sit up and raise just your right leg. Raise the right leg up as you sit up and reach out with your hands to grab a hold of your foot or leg. And you got to lift the leg up. You come up on the tailbone. So you kind of feel the tailbone pressing the floor. Try to touch, bring your head toward the leg. And then release the foot, lower back, so your head and foot touch the floor at the same time if possible. Helps to strengthen the muscles of your abdomen. And do it 2 more times with your right leg. Try to lift the leg and sit up at the same time. Reach out, try to reach out towards your ankle. Keep the knees straight if possible. And lower back to the floor. And once more with the right leg. So hold that a little longer. And when ready, release, lower back. Feel the sensations. And then when you're ready, try it with the left leg. 3 times going up and down. Just relax, feel the whole body. Feel those activated life force vibrations due to the breathing, stretching. Present moment, body centered awareness. Remember laying. Letting sounds come and go in the background. Okay, now from here, we're just going to go into a body awareness exercise. You just feel the body pressing the floor. We're going to move our attention from the head down to the feet, just trying to feel each of the parts of the body for 5 or 10 seconds. Feel the sensations continuing to move down without the mind getting carried away. So first of all, just feel the spot where the back of your skull presses the floor. Just feel that contact, that heavy skull pressing the floor. Now move the attention down to feel your shoulder blades pressing the floor. Moving the attention down the arms, feel your elbows pressing the floor. Moving down further, feel your hands pressing the floor. The fingers. And feel your buttocks or hips pressing the floor. Moving the attention down the legs. Feel the clothing touching the legs pressing the floor, especially the thick flesh of your calf muscle. And finally, feel your heels pressing the floor. And try to isolate the whole foot in the mind's eye. feel the whole foot, each foot and both feet together, the arches, the balls of the feet, the toes. Try to feel those subtle tingling sensations, because the blood has to flow all the way down from the heart down to the feet. And you have to turn around so it hits the end of your toes and turns around. So there's always a lot of sensation in the toes as well as the fingers. Just feel that life force vibration. And now from the feet, allow the awareness to kind of go back up, to rest behind the eyes and to feel the whole body. So from the point on the eyes, try to feel the outline of the laying body, all those different parts we just went through. You can feel them all in kind of one glance. Looking in a mirror, just laying, laying, laying. And just try to imagine all those sensations. Basically, they're just electrons, atoms being pressed together to form molecules. So many molecules pressed together to form cells, which form the body. And basically, this body is just compressed energy. If thoughts arise, try to see the thoughts like clouds blowing high over in the sky. The body is grounded to the earth. Present moment, body centered awareness. Natural awareness. Just the baby head before coming out of the womb. Be torn away from the body. Looking outward. Don't drift off. Take a couple of deep, slow breaths. Stay awake in the body. And actually now just go ahead and begin some deep, slow breathing. It's actually quite easy to do that 3-part breathing, laying down. So you breathe in, just pushing the stomach out and down, and expanding the middle chest and then the upper chest. It's not 3 separate breaths, it's just one continuous in-breath. Hold the air in at the top of the chest as long as you comfortably can. Feel that subtle energy. And breathe out, feeling all that air going out of the lungs. Okay, now begin flexing your fingers and toes. Bring the circulation back to more activity. Now, on an in breath, sit back up again. Bring the hands to your chest and over the head. And one more time, the forward stretch. Breathe in, sit up. Now, without much ado, just bring your legs into any sitting position. Your 1 minute meditation. Just close the eyes. Feel the state of your body and mind. Is the body and mind content with the present moment? Or is it hoping for the future or something else? Clearest definition of suffering is wanting to be somewhere else than right here, right now, in any time or any place. If it's not, ask yourself why. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting slowly on a long out breath. If you want to place the hands together at the chest, you can. You take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Okay, now just mindfully fold your legs a bit. You come up into the squatting position. On an in breath, feel the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up. And keep the hands on the floor. Come into the downward stretch. You can straighten the legs, keeping the hands on the floor. And carefully lift up on an in breath. Breathe in, bring the hands together at the chest. The out breath, hands to the sides. Feel the whole body. Okay. Did you get it? Or whatever good feeling you might have got from that, relaxed, or whatever, keep that with you as you go for your evening nourishment. Try to do it the same way as I was advising at that at the earlier break. Whatever, if you're going to be drinking or eating a cookie or something, do that mindfully. Try not to get caught up in the talking, and then during this break, this period, if you have any questions, you can write them down. If you haven't already, write them down for this evening. So we'll meet back about 7 o'clock. But try to maintain a noble silence, not to get caught up in talking, because that immediately distracts the attention, pulls you out from the body. Roll up your mats, put them away.